Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to use a Game Boy Pocket screen in a Game Boy Light. A lot of the time what can happen when you start adding some power back into a Game Boy that has lines on the screen, more lines can start appearing, and as you'll be able to see in just a moment, this screen is absolutely unusable now. However, the backlight works absolutely great, the buttons are super responsive and everything works great. So what we need to just do is swap over a Game Boy Pocket screen into the Game Boy Light. I've also got this recently spray painted blue Game Boy Pocket, which I'm going to be using the internals of this into that one. So that's just another little bonus we're going to do at the end of this video. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and use this one. Now what we want to make sure is that there isn't any lines on these screens. So let's try and find one that works okay so we can test it. There we go. No lines on that screen at all, and looks great. Let's go ahead and disassemble both these Game Boys. In order to get the screen out of the Game Boy Pocket, you just need to apply a tiny little bit of pressure and it will just start wiggling up. There's just a little adhesive strip that's underneath the screen, so just be very, very gentle with it because you don't want to damage it. And there we go, we've now taken the screen out. So the next step you need to do now is grab yourself a knife. I've got this one here. I'm also going to recommend that you're going to use some sort of gloves that aren't going to cut you, because this is quite a dangerous procedure, if you want to call it that. You basically just want to lift up the tiny little bit in the corner. You want to refrain from cutting this all the way down. You want to kind of lift it up so that then we can peel it up as opposed to sliding it all the way down, because then the glue will come off evenly and it won't leave a load of residue. Well, it won't leave as much residue because the residue is really quite tough to get off, and unfortunately those ribbon cables are completely in the way of us being able to get this off. So just lift off the corner. Okay, there we go. Incredibly nerve-wracking procedure. So once you've removed that, I just put the reflective film back underneath, and you can see there that there are no lines, which is incredibly relieving. So next thing to do then is disassemble the Game Boy Light and swap everything over. So go ahead and set that Game Boy Light screen to the side, and what we can now do is quickly clean up the glass on the Game Boy Pocket screen and then put a new polarizer film in and reassemble the Game Boy Light. So to clean up a Game Boy screen, I always recommend using isopropyl alcohol. Here is some. This is 99.5% isopropyl alcohol. So basically it will evaporate quickly, yet it's going to be quite strong, so it will hopefully eat up any of the adhesive left on the screen. Usually when you use the knife you get a little bit of adhesive up there, so that's what we're going to be removing here. So quite easy, just apply a lot of pressure and rub it off. Not too much pressure. Next up, what we're going to do is take our new polarizer film, and I'll leave a link to this in the description below, and we're going to need to cut a piece so that it can go on the back. So what you need to make sure is when you put the screen back on, that you're not getting the darker part and that you're getting the lighter part. So once you've gotten the right orientation, I know mine is now landscape, then go ahead and stick the old film back on as a bit of a template, and then go ahead and cut it out. The way that I stick this replacement polarizer back is I just peel a little part off and bend it backwards, and then that just kind of lifts it off the surface and prevents it from sticking down. And whilst you do that as well, you can then line up the polarizer film. Then just gently press it down in order to just stick that part down. Grab the front part, just protecting the film, and then as you push it down, as you peel away, you want to push down in order to remove the possibility of air bubbles. Okay, then slide the electroluminescent panel back underneath like so, and pop the whole little screen assembly back into the shell and reassemble the Game Boy. And finally, you can test if the Game Boy now works, and as you can see, it does. It works perfectly. Put the backlight on. If I just turn this light off there, you can see that. All right, and that is going to pretty much conclude this video. I hope you have all enjoyed. Hopefully it's been a little bit insightful. You can see that the screen is now like a lot darker to when it started. The difficulty with the polarizer that I had is that it's like a front polarizer, so I think it's slightly different. So when you buy a polarizer film, you can get them from like Handheld Legends. You won't have to go through the whole adhesive process. Unfortunately, that's just the one that I had. But you can see that it looks absolutely fine. And yeah, everything works brilliantly. Super happy with how this has turned out. I've now got myself a nice working Game Boy Light. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace. For those of you who wanted to see the blue Game Boy Pocket be assembled, this is a little bit of an extra bonus video part for those of you. Okay, and there we go. We now have a lovely Game Boy Pocket. And if I compare that to how it looked like when it first came down, you can see there that it is excellent. It's massively, massively improved. Hope you have all enjoyed this video again, and thank you. I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.